Hey everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about the relationship between clutter and feng shui. I think this is a really important thing to focus on and some distinctions that I want to point out during today's videos. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Carrie Miller. I'm a feng shui and energy clearing practitioner. And I've been practicing for more than 20 years now, and I focus on making spaces feel better and flow better. And quite honestly, I run into the topic of clutter and decluttering quite often. Although I will say that you won't find clutter mentioned at all in the classic feng shui texts. Feng shui is a practice that has been around for thousands of years now. And quite honestly, clutter is a modern problem. It's something that was not really dealt with until probably 100 years ago. But now in modern times, we are a consumer society and a collector society. And so we're able to really accumulate a lot more items. And sometimes those items are supporting us and helping us create the life that we want. And sometimes they become clutter and are no longer serving us. And in that way, they end up blocking the energy that is meant to flow and support us. And so in traditional feng shui, the focus really is to look at the way energy flows through a space or around an area and make sure that it is flowing in a way that is most beneficial to you and least harsh to you. And it also looks at energy cycles, the life cycle of energy, and making sure that you're surrounding yourself with energy that is vital and energizing for you at the same time. So with feng shui, we're looking at that energy flow and that energy frequency and arranging it in a beneficial way so that your space feels good and then you feel good and your life alters in beneficial ways because of that energetic support that you receive from your environment. And when clutter has built up in a space, it starts to block that and it will create a problem with the energy flow. So it blocks the energy, and it becomes a physical block that doesn't allow chi energy to move through your space. And it lowers the frequency of the space. It's stuff that you don't need anymore. It's stuff you don't care about. It's stuff you don't want to deal with. And it's just weighing on you. So it typically ends up acting like it's a mental, it's not just like clutter in your space, but it becomes a mental clutter, like because you know you need to deal with it at some point. You know you have to move it out of your way to get started to work on something that's important. You know that you need to, kind of close your eyes to it, or it becomes a visual distraction. And all of those effects that clutter has on the space and on you create a sense of overwhelm and a sense of heaviness in the space. So in addition to blocking the flow of energy, it's really pulling at your energy and distracting you from what's important and what's of focused. And so the result is that your life becomes harder and your space becomes more difficult to move through for energy and for you. And that just gives you that feeling of swimming upstream all the time. So the other thing to know is that clutter tends to collect where energy is already not moving, where it's already stagnant. And I like to use the visual of a body of water. You know, if there's a beautiful flowing river behind your house and the water's kind of crystal clear and it's twinkling by and it's fresh and it's energizing and it makes you just want to kind of go dip your toes into it. Versus if you have a stagnant pool of water back there, it will get kind of all cloudy and mossy and icky, and sometimes it might not even smell bad, and it's not a place where you really want to go. It's life-giving to some forms of life, but it's not necessarily attractive and appealing, and really allowing all forms to thrive. And that's what's happening in your house. Even though you can't see it, when the energy is not moving freely through a house in a beneficial way, it will create pockets that just are just heavy and stuck, and things will tend to accumulate there. And it makes the space feel worse. It makes you feel worse, and it becomes hard to to create movement or to create momentum when your environment is creating that block for you. And we all know that a cluttered space feels bad. It feels overwhelming. It feels like a distraction, right? It's harder to get your work done. It's harder to focus. It's harder to find your shoes in the morning. It makes everything a little bit harder for you, and that is altering your potential in life. And we can clear that out of the way. We can change your potential. But that's not the only piece of it. And so that's what I want you to listen through for till the end, because decluttering is a big win when you go through and you finally take that process to clear away the stuff that you don't want anymore or that hasn't been serving you. It feels really good. Number one, you are checking off that big, huge, ugly task that has been weighing on your shoulders, that mental clutter that's been there for a while. So that's gone. So you instantly feel lighter and you feel a lot better. Your space feels better and it looks better because you've created some spaciousness. And now the energy can actually move and flow through the space. And so that will make you feel better as well, because now the energy is moving in a way that you can feel it. And everything feels lighter and more flowy, and you feel more energized. The thing is that this is often a temporary relief. And that's because the deeper energy issue that's going on in your home hasn't been addressed. You've moved the stuff out of the way so now the energy can flow. But there's a reason why it was getting stuck in the first place, and we want to go and fix that. So decluttering and feng shui truly go hand in hand. And what I often find is that people will do the decluttering part. They'll get that quick win. They'll feel so accomplished. Their space will feel better. Things will start shifting for them in a positive way. And some people will even come up to me and say, I feng shuied this weekend. I decluttered the whole room. You'll be so proud of me. That's not feng shui. It's not. It's not the same thing, but it is the start of it. It's the beginning of it. So there's a reason why decluttering alone isn't enough. Because if you don't correct for the unseen energy flow challenges, then the clutter often will build up again. Or the space will still not feel right, and you still won't be getting a sustainable flow of energy that will support you continuously and in a life-altering way. And that's what we really want with Feng Shui. We want to change your potential in life. So a couple of examples of that are, you have that room at the end of the hallway that everybody drops stuff in. You open the door, you throw stuff in, you close the door, you ignore it. Nobody wants to go in there. You've cleaned it up a few times, but then nobody wants to use the space even once it's cleared out. Like it ends up becoming a drop zone again. There's reasons for that energetically in the house. And often, like that room, that weird room that collects everything, is in an energetically funky spot. Either it's off to the side of a long hallway, so the energy is rushing right by and it's not getting the benefit of the energy. Or sometimes it's at the end of a long hallway and it's really getting bombarded by the energy. So because of that, the room doesn't feel good in the first place, or the room is kind of stagnant in the first place, or over energetically anxious in the first place. And so it becomes a room that's not used and things collect there and get dumped there. And we can shift that using feng shui cures and enhancements to redirect the energy. We either use it to call energy to a place that is stagnant, or we send energy away from it if it's too active an energy, or we might even just redirect the energy or soften the impact of the energy using some feng shui cures and enhancements. And when we've made that correction and cure, then the energy of the space feels better and it starts to thrive a little bit more and call you to use it in a better way. The other thing is that a lot of times the energy in the room will be off for some reason. We look at the balance of elements in a space, and when the elements are balanced and working with each other, they actually create energy. They create life. And when they're out of balance, they can be stagnating, destructive, not as thriving. But it's quick fixes, it's easy fixes that can get that balance working. And again, make that space feel better so that the energy is called to that area in a beneficial way. And whoever or whatever is going on in that space is enlivened by it. And whatever part of life that room is related to in relation to your Feng Shui Bagua map, that part of life can start to feel more energized as well. So there's that whole aspect of your home relating, different parts of your home relating to different parts of your life. Often we will see that if there's a stagnant or cluttered part of the home, that the related part of life that we find using your Bagua map is often also a struggle, or it's stuck, or it's not moving in the way that you want it to do. And when we make that shift in the physical space itself and get the energy supporting that part of the home, suddenly that part of life starts to shift too. And there's other things that can be going on. Like you can do a huge declutter in your whole house, and the house will feel lighter and fresher, and you'll feel better. But if your home is tucked far back from the main road and it's hidden, and vital chi has a difficult time finding you, finding your front door, and getting into your home, then that's still going to be a problem. We haven't fixed that problem, but we want to, and it's usually pretty quick and easy. And then we're calling more energy towards you, and more opportunity towards you, and more wealth and abundance in your direction. On the flip side, if your home has some energy leaks with it, we've decluttered, but we haven't addressed the energy leaks. And when we do that, we can actually contain the energy. So energy can leak away from your home when like if you open the front door and you look across and you can see right out the back door, energy flows where attention goes. It's gonna go the easiest, fastest route out. Like you open the door, you see the back door, that's where energy is going to. It's like in and out. And we want to contain that. And with Feng Shui cures, we can do that. We can call the energy in different directions, encourage it to come through the house, linger in the house longer, energize all the spaces, all the people who are there, all the parts of life that are related to it, and really jumpstart the energy of everything that's going on there before it rushes away. So we want to prevent those leaks from happening because that will solve a lot of the energy problems in the first place. And there's lots of ways that energy can be leaking away, or lots of ways that energy might not be finding you, or lots of ways that energy can be getting stuck or being harsh and creating situations where your space doesn't feel good. And because of that, you're not thriving in life as much as you could be. So Feng Shui is really about the piece of it that creates the lasting shift. We are looking at balancing the elements and adding enhancements so that we're activating the energy of the home, activating the different parts of your life, and energizing you and your life potential in the process. So you are feeling better, flowing better in all the parts of life. Like you're seeing different results, seeing different outcomes in life because the energy is supporting you more. You're not swimming upstream anymore against it. It's working with you to create what you want in life. So we're looking at architectural things that are going on in the home that are creating imbalances. We're looking at energetic imbalances, like an imbalance of the five elements. And we're even looking at like where clutter is collecting and how it's blocking the energy. And we're fixing that in a long-term way so that we're holding energy in the space longer, attracting energy to the space better, holding it in the space longer, lifting the frequency of the space so that it feels good, and even using that Feng Shui Bagua map to create a very intentional space that is set up and reminding you of what you're attracting in life. So it becomes a bigger magnet for what you're trying to create and attract in your life. Very intentional with the way we place things and how we fix things for you and for your situation. It's right, we are setting up the space so that it creates an energy that reminds you how to show up on a daily basis, that reminds you what your goals and your priorities are, so that you're not trying to remember all the time. You are in it, you're living in it, you're embodying it at all times, and your environment is helping you to do that. When you're moving your way around clutter all the time and shifting things to help you get focused to accomplish the goals that you have, that's working against you. But when your space is already set up to allow you to do that, it becomes much easier to flow through life with ease. Yeah, this stuff is so important. And I hear a lot of people who are doing the decluttering they're either stuck in the decluttering process, like they've started it a million times, but never made their way through it. And so they never get to the feng shui part, or they've decluttered and they feel good about it. And then they just feel so good about it that they never move on to this more intentional piece of it, of really using the energy to your benefit and directing the energy where it needs to go to create different outcomes in your life, better outcomes in your life. So I have some key takeaways for this. When I learned feng shui, the message that I was given was if people have clutter in their homes, they need to clear that first, because the clutter will block the energy flow and it won't, whatever feng shui cures you put in place, they won't be able to activate because the energy is not moving energy anyway. And over the course of many years of working with this, people who have clutter and people who are feng shuiing, I've actually altered that a little bit. I do believe that there is some benefit to putting some feng shui in place to help you light a fire where the fire needs to get lit, to help inspire the decluttering process, motivate the decluttering process, and sustain the energy that you need to get through whatever needs to get decluttered. So, for example, I was checking in with a person who was a client of mine in the past, and they had quite a bit of clutter in their attic area that they wanted to get through. And I was checking in with them on that. And they have not accomplished that yet. And so we talked about some feng shui things to do in the space to kind of activate the energy in the space so that it calls your attention there and it makes you want to go there and make the shift and make the adjustment, right? So even though you may have clutter and that is a challenge, I encourage you to look at the feng shui as well and see if you can at least put some feng shui in place that gets a little bit of flow moving. Sometimes that happens in unison, where you let a little bit of stuff go, make some space, allow the energy to flow more differently, and then you also are activating the energy using feng shui to keep it moving, to keep you motivated, and keep you going through the end of the process. So I think you can use feng shui and have clutter. I think that it can actually support you in that decluttering process. So don't dismiss feng shui because you are looking around and seeing clutter that's in the way first. Sometimes putting a few strategic feng shui cures in place can actually get the energy moving in a way that makes you want to make shifts and changes in the environment that you're in. The other thing I would say is, do some decluttering, but don't stop there. Like, use feng shui, add adjustments, add feng shui cures so that you are sustaining the positive energy that you have gotten to flow again, and that you are supporting all the different areas of your life. And so that you are enhancing your whole home so that it is feeling good, flowing good, and continuing to work with you to create the life that you want. And that can be very intentional. That can be like, once you've decluttered and you've created all this space, now you have a blank slate where you can really think about, what do I want in my life? What do I want my home to look like and feel like? And how can I activate that energy with some key feng shui cures? How can I sustain that? So that's a really powerful part of the process. And even going through that Bagua map and creating that three-dimensional vision board in your home. Your home becomes the vision board. You are living in it. It's reminding you of what you're creating. It's helping you magnetize and attract the things that you want to manifest. It's working with you to get to that process. And what I will say is that feng shui is very precise. I give a lot of general feng shui tips, like you want to attract more wealth and abundance. There's a wealth corner in your home. If you want to grow and expand your wealth and prosperity, put a big, healthy plant in that corner that symbolizes growth and prosperity or symbolizes growth and expansion, right? So you're adding the energy of that thing that you want to attract into your life into that area. And that's a very general feng shui tip. It's very helpful. It usually is very uplifting. But the thing is that for every person, there's a reason why the energy around wealth and abundance is stuck. For one person, it could be not feeling like they are known very well for what they do, for the thing that, brings in their income. And so that's a different part of the house that we would look at and apply feng shui cures and adjustments to. Somebody else may be along the wrong career path. And so we want to look at that career area of the space and do some specific feng shui cures for that area. There could be something going on architecturally in that area that's working against you that we want to cure and correct, right? So when we get that fixed, then the energy flow to the wealth corner is easy. It like releases that tension or that block. It could also be that you don't have enough support in your life to allow you to, attract the income or the prosperity or the abundance that you need. So that is keeping you out of alignment with that level of abundance. So there's different places that we would look, very specific, precise cures and intentions that we fix based on your space and the architecture of your home, based on what your goals are, based on what challenges you're facing in reaching those goals, based on the clutter that you have or you don't have. So it's very intentional. And based on what's going on in your space, we are going to choose a correction or a cure that very intentionally directs energy where it's needed or softens energy where it's harsh. And in that practice, we're turning your home into that three-dimensional vision board that's allowing energy to flow in all the places that are blocked or impacted for you. So in closing, I just want to emphasize that decluttering is very important in today's culture. In a modern way, we have created a beast that actually blocks energy and blocks our potential. And decluttering will help. It will get energy flowing in a beneficial way for you, at least for a little while. But the feng shui and really working with those unseen energies and how they're flowing and whether they're working with you or against you, or whether they're beneficial or harsh, or whether they're supporting you or making things harder, is really what is the lasting, life-changing effect that we can create with feng shui. Because when those energies are working with you and activating the right places and supporting you and your home and your family, it changes your potential. It changes what you are able to attract into your life. So declutter, do some decluttering for sure, but also feng shui is the next step. It's the next level. And if I can support you with that, I would love to talk to you about what's going on for you. There are links in the description of this video that tell you how to get in touch with me. And we can talk about what's going on and whether you're at the feng shui part of the process or whether there's some things that you should do first. There are some situations where I work with people through the decluttering process and on into feng shui. There are also some situations where I just refer out to somebody who is professionally trained in decluttering and organizing. They may provide supports that I'm not able to support, like actually removing the items from your home for you or finding some charities or locations that will take the items for you. sometimes they might be trauma informed because let's be honest, there is a whole bunch of energetic and emotional attachment to the objects that we keep. And it can be a traumatic thing to let things go, or there can be memories and emotions that come up as you're going through that process. And there are people who are more skilled at guiding people through that part of the process than I am. So if you reach out to me and I don't think I can support you through that decluttering part of the process, I will refer you out. And then I will cross my fingers that you will come back when you're at a better place and do the feng shui process as well. There are some situations where it's a good match and I can support you and keep you accountable through that process and give you strategies to move through what you have so that we are opening up the energy of your space and also creating some feng shui shifts along the way so that we're sustaining your energy through the decluttering process and getting a clear vision of what we're aiming towards and making sure that the energy of your environment is supporting you in that future you place, attracting something different into your life. So again, if I can support you, my contact information is below. There's several resources below also that you can tap into and reach out to me if I can support you. Thanks so much. Have a great day.